Hey guys, welcome to another episode of About Ukraine, and in this video I'm going to talk about Ukrainian girls. I mean, Ukrainian girls is the number one thing guys want to know about Ukraine, so might as well as talk about it. And I'm gonna do this video from the point of a foreigner or somebody who's came into Ukraine with a fresh pair of eyes and trying to navigate this whole idea of Ukrainian girls, especially the way I was looking at it when I was living abroad, and I was thinking, well, Ukrainian girls are the best, and how do I actually get in touch with them and stuff. Obviously, the long distance thing would have been really difficult to do, but in this video I guess the focus is how do you navigate dating and basically paid dating services and what they are and how they work and that kind of stuff, whether or not they're worth it. I, for the record, think they're a complete waste of money. They're not worth it. You should definitely never use them, and in this video I'm going to probably talk a little bit about that as well. A little bit about Ukrainian girls first of all, right? I mean, they're really known as one of the most warmest, nicest people out there, and I spent a lot of time with them, right? And living in Ukraine for the past 6 years have definitely given me quite a bit of an experience in interacting with them and understanding what they want, what they're looking for, what they're like. And there are definitely things that set them apart from American women, from Western women, 100%. I mean, it's not a myth, it's a fact. And there are massive differences in basically how they think and what they want. Many things are obviously universal, but there's certainly some differences there for sure. My first point would be, if you're considering dating services and looking for something long term, you probably want to invest more than just a couple of bucks a month. If you're really looking to find somebody long term and get a woman, get to know her and that kind of stuff, well, why not just come to Ukraine, learn the language, learn the culture. Yeah, you'll probably have to make some adjustments to your life, and it's definitely not going to be easy, but it's something that you should definitely try doing. Well, number one, like I said, I recommend coming to Ukraine, whether it's for a month, whether it's for a few months, whether consider getting a permanent residency, see if you can live here for an extended period of time. And then number two step really is sign up for free dating services. You don't need to go for a paid one, just sign for a free dating one. Try using the tools that are available to you, right? Tinder, Facebook, Instagram. Might as well as message girls on Instagram directly if you find one that you like. Maybe through your friend, maybe through a friend of a friend. I mean, the worst thing that you can do is really say no, right? Or maybe ignore you. At least you're not using an intermediary to do that. I personally found that women in Ukraine are more receptive to messages and they're going to answer you, unlike women in the West, but that's my personal experience. Maybe for someone maybe a different picture. Don't dismiss interacting with women on the park, on a street, maybe somewhere that you're at. And if you're in Ukraine, chances are you don't know how things work around there, and why not chat up a pretty girl? I mean, it's a great excuse. Well, 5 years ago, say walking around the park and maybe going to a club or going to a bar would be a good idea to me. I mean, it probably is a good idea to me, somebody right now still. In cities like Kiev, cities like Lviv, there are many courses available, especially targeted towards the IT crowd, allows people to improve their management skills, design skills. It doesn't really matter, any kind of personal development or professional development skill that you want to improve, chances are you can find a course about it. And these events are really great for finding people that are like-minded. It will be somebody on your level, might make them a good partner. Unlike a girl from a village or somebody from online, these girls at these events are likely to be, well, first of all, they're likely to speak English, right? They're likely to be highly educated in some sort of accounting field or law or whatever. They may have some experience in interacting with foreigners, in interacting with people in foreign countries, and have an idea of what the world is like outside of Ukraine. And number three point that you should realize is that matchmaking services will never know who's right for you anyway. They're just interested in making money, growing their business, and not to make sure that no matter what happens, you end up with the right girl, find the right woman. Let's say you do realize that, against all my advice, you want to go and sign up for a paid dating site and register for one, and then bust out your credit card. And I'm not going to stop you if you want to do that, but at the same time, do your due diligence. What are the credit card conditions? Read up on it. What are the return policies? Where's the company registered? Is it in Ukraine? Is it Cyprus? Is it somewhere else, in the Bahamas? Just look for the red flags, really. Who handles the payments? Is there a company that you've never heard of? So you have to realize that Ukraine has no legislation when it comes to consumer protection and when it comes to getting your money back. There's really no anti-monopoly committee or that kind of stuff. And if you realize that you've been fooled out of a lot of money, there's no way you can use the Ukrainian legislation to get it back. In terms of how these websites operate is PPL or pay per letter schemes or pay per match, or it's the same sort of thing where you actually have to pay every time you get some sort of a progress going on, and that's basically how they make money off you. Another strategy is buying like flowers. I mean, I've heard that bouquets of flowers can cost upward of $100, which is like 2,800 hryvnias, which is quite a lot of money. I mean, on the street, like if you were to walk around in Ukraine, you could find like a nice bouquet for like maybe something like 300 hryvnias, or 1/5 or like 1/10 of a price. So they're obviously price gouging you there. When it comes to like chats and phone calls, or young girls or young students to answer these messages on behalf of this girl, so you might not even be talking to that person that you think you're talking to. So let's say you've actually registered for a paid dating site. So here's what you should keep in mind. Or if you're just talking to a girl who's on a free dating site, it's the same thing. You should probably keep in mind, like, do your due diligence to keep in mind these 4 things. The number one thing is that get her social media account. I mean, yeah, there's a very small chance that somebody's not going to have an Instagram or Facebook in Ukraine. I mean, since the ban of the Russian websites, nobody's really using the Russian websites anymore. Most people, even in their 30s, 40s, they're already going to have a social media account. If she refuses to provide that, and she looks like she could obviously have one, chances are she's a scammer, or maybe she's maybe get your contact information and not provide any of hers. What a paid dating agency may actually want to do is they want to prey on people with lack of self-confidence, maybe loneliness. I mean, you have to realize that probably hundreds of millions of men, like in countries like, India, China, like that has a skewed male population there. Lots of men out there that are willing to shell out the money. You should also realize that matchmaking industry is a very big industry. It's a billion-dollar industry, and it's growing just due to the fact that there's so many young men out there, or maybe older men, especially older men with money, with lots of resources, and they don't really mind shelling out the money. Another thing is that Ukraine and Belarus, Russia, there's lots of misconceptions about wealth in these countries. Yeah, it's true that some people are definitely very poor, but it's also countries that are less materialistic. It's also easy to bring down the image of that country in the US, for example, where it's a self-fulfilling myth that gets perpetuated. Quality woman will not trust a dating agency to find a good partner for herself. Like I said, I've been living in Ukraine for a number of years, and in my interactions with all of these women, not a single one of them actually said that she'd be interested in dating exclusively foreign men. Like, she's actually looking for foreign men, and doesn't care about like Ukrainian guys next door, right? So another thing you have to do is look at it from a woman's point of view. For example, if you're a girl from the city and you're busy with schoolwork, with friends and the family, probably you're not gonna have time to sign up for a site like that, and chances are you already have a lot of options in your city or in your circle of friends. And if you're a woman in the village, for example, most people just end up staying there, really. I mean, I've heard stories of people never leaving them. Like, if you're in a village, for example, that has, I don't know, like 1,000 people in it, and I've heard stories of women who are like, not older women, but like women in their 30s, maybe even younger, and they don't even like go to the neighboring city that much. People are not very mobile here in Ukraine, especially if they don't have too much money. Take all that into consideration and realize that there's a slim chance that a woman's gonna want to uproot herself and change her life around just for like one potential guy that may be cool. But again, all the sacrifice that she might have to do over a long distance, or the kind of sacrifices she has to make to accommodate you also have to take that into account. Another story that I keep also hearing is that foreigners that come to Ukraine, a lot of Turkish guys, for example, end up coming to Ukraine to have some fun because it's a completely, to them it's an exotic place. It's a different culture. Girls are different. To them, they're like really all really beautiful, but it's also like an exotic little place for them too. They come down here. They want to hang out with girls, and girls will readily hang out with them, because to them they're thinking, well, this is a guy who's gonna like be paying for my meals, gonna be paying for my dinner, and then he's gonna leave like in a less than a month, maybe like in a week. Girls not stupid. They're gonna use that opportunity and go out on a few dates, and then when the Turkish guy wants to make a move, obviously they're gonna be like, oh, no, I don't want to do that. The thing is, like, I mean, that's Turkey, right? And if someone from like the UK or the US, I mean, yeah, good luck. I mean, that kind of thing, first of all, you won't even be able to do that if you want to, because it's obviously a lot more expensive for you to get to Ukraine. But even if you do, you have to realize that the prism that a girl will see you, what she will think of you. Another thing you got to remember is not to put Ukrainian women too much on a pedestal. You have to understand that they're people as well, just like you, right? In many cases, they're very similar to women in the West. However, you may even find that some Ukrainian women have characteristics that are undesirable to you. One of the big ones is that many girls in Ukraine smoke. Recent statistics indicate that something around 15% of women smoke in Ukraine, and that compared to only 5% in the West. Ukraine does have a pretty high divorce rate, just like in the West. I mean, there are other girls that are stuck with children. It depends on the age, but it kind of affects a wider spectrum of girls here in Ukraine compared to in the West. Another thing is that many girls do come from broken families, broken homes, and with an absent father figure, and that's also something to keep an eye out. It's not something that really happens in the West too much, but in Ukraine it's also relatively prevalent. These are my thoughts on the matter, and Let me know what you think in the comments below, and let me know like if you agree with what I'm saying or not. And have a good one, guys.